Christa Jacobson, headmistress of the Budo, where we teach authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai Bujutsu. And for those of you who don't know what that is, those are the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. Tonight, well, the dojo's closed, family's in bed, and I'm going to go out for one of my night walks, and I thought I would share some of my thoughts in the martial arts with all of you guys. I'm out walking my dog. Here's Gabby. And right, so I got a question online, and it was about training in reality-based martial arts or reality-based self-defense, and that's going to be the topic of conversation tonight. The individual who asked the questions had some pretty good questions, and a lot of it I thought was something that I've covered in numerous videos, but some of the questions were pretty good. And the focus was more on how do you take a martial art that you're studying and use that martial art and utilize those skills for like reality self-defense. So we're going to kind of go with that topic tonight. And yeah, so before I begin, if you guys are into Japanese martial arts, of the classical martial arts of the ninja and samurai, traditional Japanese martial arts, or if you're into just reality-based self-defense training, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button. And if you guys are interested in authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu, as well as self-defense, then check out my website at www.budo-ninjutsu.com. So, right, so here we go. When people say they teach reality-based self-defense, I've said this in numerous videos. I think that 99% of all martial arts are bullshit, and I do believe that. 99% of all martial arts are bullshit, and that includes all martial arts. That's not just, I'm in the world of traditional martial arts, and I can tell you up front, 99% of traditional martial arts are bullshit. Like they do not train their students the way they should be trained. They don't offer quality training. They don't do anything to push their students to make them better. Their sole objective is to get money. They don't give a shit about the skill level of the student. They absolutely don't. So let my dog sniff there. So to be quite honest with you, yeah, I mean, I could definitely say in traditional martial arts or traditional Japanese martial arts, which is the area that that I'm in, I can say that 99% is just flat bullshit. I would assume, and again, I can't speak for the people who are in sport martial arts or modern martial arts or anything like that. I can't speak because it's not my field. But I would assume it's the same or close, because I would assume the same problems that the traditional martial arts dojos have is the same problems that every martial arts school or academy or whatever has. Now I do have a strong emphasis on reality-based self-defense, or we use a traditional word called Goshinjutsu, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And I can tell you right now, the majority of people that are like, oh, we're a reality-based self-defense school and all this kind of stuff, I'll tell you now, 99% of them are bullshit. I mean, I'll flat out tell you, they're horse shit. All they're doing is they're putting on some damn, army fatigues, or, wearing camo or whatever. They make themselves look all tactical, but they're doing bullshit. Take the face off of it. Take the identity off of it. Take away the fact that they're dressing up like G.I. Joe for the weekend. What they're doing is bullshit. See, and I know that the majority of people that are looking for a good martial arts school, it's tough because you want to find a place where you can go train and get the truth. But when 99% is bullshit, you know what I mean? Where the fuck do you go, right? So, all I can say is, do your homework. That's it. Figure out what it is that you want to train for and go find the people that can help. But the question that arose from this conversation, the main question was, how do you take the training of traditional martial arts and apply that to reality-based self-defense? Now, I'm going to go through some, not all, but some of the techniques that we do here. Not techniques like break them down physically, but I mean just from a technical perspective of these ideas on how we apply that here, okay? So the first couple levels, we're really big on form, like these are how you do blocks, and these are how you do kicks, and these are how you do punches, and these are specific stances, and blah, 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 blah. And a couple levels into it and all this kind of stuff. And once you get into maybe level 3, level 4, then you start seeing a totally different look. At that point, you start seeing, oh shit, now there's lots of movement, and the kamae, or the stances, really aren't supposed to be like stationary. They're actually more like doors or gates, and you have to pass through them like as you're moving, because in a real fight you're moving. You're not stationary, you're not on your heels. Anyone who tells you that's bullshit. You know, there's no athletic movement where people are doing it on their fucking heels, right? So when you start looking, you start learning the kata. So we look at traditional kata. I'm really big on history and tradition and understanding that and then applying that to your lives physically, mentally, and emotionally. I think those are wonderful lessons. But you have to understand, if you're going to learn the kata and apply it, you know, from a physical perspective, mental, emotional, spiritual, all that kind of thing, which are great benefits, you need to be able to take away the principles of that kata and look at it and say, okay, what is this teaching me? And how can I apply this in a reality-based situation where it's going to be very fast, very intense, and very fucking violent? I think people don't, and I'm going to say this a few times as I go through this, because this is the point that I'm going to try to make. When you are training for self-defense, you have to realize something, okay? Your training has to fit reality. Reality does not fit your training. It doesn't matter where the fuck you're from. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how broke your ass is. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female or transgendered, right? It doesn't fucking matter. None of it matters. Your attacker is going to come at you full on force, and they're going to try to use as much force and violence and aggression against you to defeat you, to do whatever it is that they want to do against you. That is an absolute. It doesn't make a fuck. It doesn't. Your gender and sex and religion and political position has no fucking bearing on someone trying to knife you or put a gun to your head. Doesn't fucking matter. You either can get out of that situation or you can't. Now, when you're training in martial arts, if you go to these schools, it's like, oh, we're going to do this, and they water the shit down, and oh, we're going to give little, you know, get the kids black belt programs and all this kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I think that all that's kind of good. It's good for kids to do something. I'm not saying martial arts for kids are bad, but generally speaking, the places that do that kind of thing, they are not preparing their adult students for just reality-based self-defense. They're not. They may have an art part to it, you know, and it may be artistic, and maybe they're learning kata and all that kind of thing. You know, maybe. But the reality of it is, when someone jumps your ass, it's going to be extremely intense. It's going to be extremely violent, and you are not going to be in the advantageous position. It's just not going to happen. So you are the prey, and they are the predator. And they are attacking you because they see that you are fucking weak. Now, the rabbit never attacks the fucking lion. So there's absolutely zero chance in hell that the person that jumps your ass is going to be in your weight class. So if you think, oh, well, you know, I'm 150, so I'm only going to train against people that are 150. No, there's going to be some dude, 300 fucking pounds, going to throw your ass down on the ground, have his way with you, and then steal everything you have. Every fucking thing. There's no weight class when it comes down to that reality of self-defense. And if you're not training in that mindset, if you're not training in techniques and drills and concepts that can help you prevail in that situation, then you are not training in that situation. It's just that simple. You can't make up bullshit and say that it's gold. You can't. Again, I'm going to say it again. Reality does not change. The person that attacks you is going to have the advantage. They're going to be bigger. They are going to have a tactical advantage, whether it's a firearm, an edged weapon, you know, maybe they're bigger or stronger. And if not, they will have numbers. And if they don't have numbers, then they have the advantage in the terrain. They know where the fuck they are, and they know the terrain better than you know the terrain. That is an absolute. They will have the advantage. And they see you as prey, and that's why they're attacking you. Your training has to fit reality. Reality does not change for your training. I just said that. This is the point I'm making in the video. So when you guys are doing your, you know, people say like, oh, well, we're going to work on this technique, and you see stupid shit like things that we just don't fucking do, like spin kicks and jump spin kicks and all this, you know, bullshit. It's like, come on. You know, that's, oh, just imagine if this 360 jump spinny kick or whatever the fuck, you know, back kick is gonna fucking hit you right in the temple, you know. Okay, well, you know, let me educate you guys on two words that everyone want to fucking lie to you about. And I'm just gonna, like, you know, think about this. There's a difference between what is possible and what is probable. Okay, so just because someone can, in class, they can say, oh, hold this bag, watch me do a 360 spin kick, and man, if that was someone's head, boy, they get knocked out. Sure, you kick someone in the fucking head, they probably get knocked out. You know, it's possible. You know what I mean? It's possible. It's not probable. If I go buy a motherfucking lottery ticket right now, it's possible that I win the lottery. It's not probable. I probably will not win the lottery if I buy that fucking ticket. So when people start spitting their fucking bullshit at you and they're trying to say, oh, let's do this. Oh, and when you see people water down shit, oh, we can't do that martial art. It's so hard. It's so physical. We can't do it. You know, like people fuck with me and they're like, oh, Christa, Budo, and she makes them spar and grapple and they do full contact kickboxing for test and she makes them lift weights and da-da-da. Yeah, I do. I fucking do. You goddamn right I do, because I want my students to be able to prevail through pain and control their shit through violence. And then you got people that's like, oh no, we're just gonna do this. It's just a little easier, and everybody can succeed. Everyone's happy. Why? Most people ain't happy in fucking life anyway. What the fuck you? I mean, it's just like that doesn't prepare them for jack shit. And so, if you're saying that this is a martial arts school and it's a martial art academy and we're really into painting a happy atmosphere and putting smiles on people's faces, well, fine. But the reality of it is that is not what people do. You see it plastered on their fucking windows. Learn self-defense, learn this. They're not learning self-defense. They're learning bullshit. Their teachers do not push them through pain. They do not put them in situations where they have to control violence or understand violence or control their own fucking emotions when they're getting their asses whooped in a sparring match. They absolutely don't. And that's on the teacher, that ain't on the student, because the majority of students don't fucking know. So you get all these bullshit instructors that's trying to make money, and so what they do is they water it down so they can make more money, and those are the fucking sellouts of the world. When you're studying a martial art and you're a teacher and you know damn good and well you just went to a different martial art and just because it's easier and you're watering it down just so you can make some money, you're a fucking leech of the martial arts society, and you should be embarrassed to even call yourself a martial art teacher, because you're lying to your fucking students and you know that shit is not gonna fucking work. It's absolutely not gonna work. Reality doesn't change. When anyone who gets jumped on the street, that person, whoever the attacker is gonna come on full fucking force, hard, fast, and they're gonna have a tactical fucking advantage. And if you don't train them, the students, to be able to do that, if you are a student, you're not training in that, then you are not training in that. It is that fucking simple. You have to understand the threat. You gotta be able to control your shit and control their shit. That's what you have to do. And if you can't, then you have to have the skills to be able to understand it. But most people don't do that. They don't want to do that because see, when you teach people how to do that kind of thing, it changes their bottom line. They don't make as much money, right? That's what it is. So they'd rather be a piece of shit martial art teacher, a bottom-dwelling leech that'll sell you bullshit just so they can make a few extra bucks, than to be honest and say, look, man, you ain't got the fucking skills. This isn't gonna work. You need to be better. You need to step the fuck up and handle it. They don't want to do that because it affects their bottom line. But even then, those teachers that do that shit, they flat out fucking know that reality is, yeah, if this guy gets jumped, he's gonna get his ass whooped. He's gonna get knifed. There's gonna be a gun. He ain't gonna happen. They know it. They definitely know it. But they don't give a shit. All they give a shit about their bottom line. That's why they continue on. Because they cared about the student, they would push their student and make that happen. But man, I've seen so many fucking schools change curriculum. It's always easy to make the money, and it's bullshit. And they're lying to the kids. And it's terrible. You know, I don't got an issue if they say, hey, we're a Taekwondo school and we're teaching, you know, Olympic style Taekwondo. That's a sport. Or if they're like, hey, we're a boxing school and we're doing boxing. That's a sport. Or if they say, hey, we're doing traditional whatever martial arts, but we're doing this for self-empowerment and blah, blah, blah. Okay. You know, all those kind of things are fine. I'm not talking about that group. I'm talking about when you walk into a martial arts school and they're telling you this is going to be for self-defense. That is the problem. Because when people who go looking for self-defense and then they go to those schools, they're getting fucked. They're getting lied to. And the majority of them don't know the difference. And they see someone standing there in some tactical fucking wear or some, you know, khaki pants or whatever the fuck, you know, some camouflage pants or something, looking like G.I. Joe, thinking, oh, this person got to know. They got to know what the fuck they're doing. And it's like, just stupid shit. So whatever you're doing, when you learn a classical kata, and I will say that in Gendai Budo, which are modern martial arts, so those are the martial arts like Gendai Budo would be after 1868 in Japanese timeline. So karate do, aikido, kendo, judo, iaido, do. That's Gendai Budo. When you see a kata, like in karate do, those kata tend to be long. Well, I don't say long, some of them are long, I guess, but like drawn out like a dance. In Koryu, Bujutsu, which is previous to 1868, like the age of the ninja and samurai, like what I teach, those kata are not very long. They're only, 3 seconds or less. They're more like techniques. And when you look at the particular kata, even though it is very formalized and there's lots of things involved and, very dynamic with many things and philosophy and the strategies and principles being taught, you should look at that particular kata. Okay, what is it teaching me? Now, how can I take that and apply that in reality self-defense? When I teach, when we have our school, when we're teaching class and we're doing like Kihon at the start of each class, we always bow in and, push-ups, sit-up, squats, and we start working like shadow boxing drills and things like that. When we're doing that, the first 6, 7 exercises, the first 7 for sure, are always the same. They've always been the same for so many years. And that's just because you have to drill the basics. So many people believe, if I learn more, if I get a first degree in karate and first degree in taekwondo and first degree in judo and first degree, these first dan masters, I'm always going to beat up on those first dan masters because I think they're the leeches of the martial art world. But the idea in our society that more is better is fucking ridiculous. It is so elementary and uneducated, it's not even funny. More is not better. Better is better. I'm gonna say it again, let that shit sink in. More is not better. Better is better. So when we start class, I always start with the same movements. Constant, basic stuff. Jab cross, hook shot, lead, block, move. Footwork drills, striking drills, kicking drills, basic 1-2 movements. All of it's basic 1-2 movements because that's the shit that you're gonna use in a real fight. You're not gonna bust out this goddamn, 30 technique set in the middle of a match. It's just not gonna happen in a self-defense situation. You have to be extremely proficient at what you do. Your skills have to be so sharp that you will be so efficient and pragmatic in an intense, violent situation that you can protect yourself. The unfortunate thing is 99% of martial arts are bullshit. And then on top of that, the students who grow up in this society and in our society, more is better. Man, let me watch all these videos on YouTube. Let me have all these DVDs. Look the bigger hard drive on my fucking phone, the bigger engine in my car, the more of this, the more of that. We're flooded with this idea that more is better. And it's stupid. It's a lie. It's a sales pitch. It's a lie. More is not better. Better is better. Get off your lazy fucking ass and train. That's what you need to do. Just get up off your ass and train. Another thing that gets me with the majority of martial art teachers, and this one's probably going to piss off the majority of my followers, and sorry, but you get these people like, I'm going to train you to be a weapon, I'm going to train you in self-defense, I'm going to train, right? And then they're fucking fat, out of weight, overweight, out of shape. That's true. They're fat, they're overweight, they're out of shape. And martial arts is an athletic, combative movement, situation, activity. There isn't one athlete in any fucking sport where being fat and overweight and out of shape makes you a fucking expert. Not one. Not absolutely one. Even the people who are like, now you could make an exception when you have like, what about offensive linemen or some shit like that? Okay, sure. But there are certain positions. But martial arts doesn't teach, okay, well, I'm going to teach you how to be good at self-defense. All right, I want you to eat all this shit. I want you to eat 5,000 calories a day, get a big old fat ass on you, and this is how we're going to do it. That's stupid. You're supposed to be training your body to be a weapon, to be efficient. How is it if you don't have a good resting heart rate, shit happens, violence happens, it gets intense, and then all of a sudden what? Your heart rate goes up, anxiety comes in, you start stressing out, shit's going everywhere. Do you really think a kata or an attack is going to happen with you just, oh, I see the attack coming, hold on, let me get into position? No, fuck no. You're putting your goddamn groceries in the back of your fucking car, you're pumping gas, and all of a sudden, bang, you get jacked right in your fucking head, you didn't even see it coming. Now the fight happens. The fight never happens when you're seeing it. You've already taken one right on the fucking jaw, and now you have to start defending yourself, and you're already fucking bleeding. That's the reality. And then your heart rate goes up, you're stressed out, fear sets in, you're breathing heavy, right? Fatigue sets in within quickly because you're not in shape. I mean, there isn't a martial artist in the history of ever that doesn't like that's great, that doesn't pride themselves on physical conditioning. Hojo Wando, you know, or Junin Taiso, and you work on resistance training and cardiovascular conditioning. And I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to figure it out that your body, I mean, if it is the weapon, right? So if you have a gun, if you let that gun get all rusted up and fucked up over in the corner, would you expect for that gun to fire efficiently if you had to use the son of a bitch? No. And you know why? Because you didn't take care of it. But you got all these people who are like, oh, I'm this martial art master. And they're overweight, they're out of shape, and they couldn't run out of their fucking house if it was on fire without having a heart attack. And then they're gonna be walking around like, oh, let me tell you how to do this in reality. And reality is they can't either. That's the problem, you know, and I know that just probably irritated 50% of my fucking people who follow me, but it's just the damn truth. Everyone thinks more is better. It's not. Better is better. Just because you have a bigger ass doesn't mean you're going to be better at self-defense. That's ridiculous to even think or conceive the notion. And when they're like, well, how do you do this? Or how is it supposed to be like this? When we teach concepts, whether we're doing like, take level 1, right? Level 1, you have basic blocks, basic punches, basic kicks. Well, once you start understanding the motion and once you start getting a good foundation of the particular motion, that's when you start adding in drills. And then from the drills, you start working more intermediate drills. And then you work on more advanced drills. Then you start maybe getting into doing some sparring. You might doing some grappling. Then you might do some different singular attacks where you don't know, pragmatic attacks where it could be from different people. You start drilling the same skill over and over and over again to where now it isn't just like, oh, I'm in kibadachi, you know, like horse stance, and I'm doing nagashe uke or an inward block type of thing. No, you're actually taking the skill and you're making it alive. You're doing something with it. Now, granted, we're a traditional martial arts school, and so when it comes down to testing, you're tested on the traditional skill set because the teacher shouldn't test the student if the student doesn't have the skills to back up what they're testing for. The test is generally the traditional kata. So like, let's say that you're testing for level 1, and well, yeah, when you do your blocks, I mean, as you go higher up in the level, of course, there's sparring involved and et cetera, but we're talking like level 1, like white belt test. Yeah, you're gonna be in a horse stance and you do your blocks and you do your outward blocks and you do your upward blocks and all that kind of stuff. Sure, that's how you would test if you're a white belt going to yellow, of course. But you would have already had, and even though that's the test, that's the formalized test, so that this teacher can understand, the teacher can see that you understand history and tradition and the principles and concepts. But before that test happens, there would have been so many different drills. There would have been so many different things happen so that the student would understand how those concepts work, how they're applied, how that can be used and utilized in a variety of different ways. You know, when you go to a martial arts school, it shouldn't just be, okay guys, let's do a couple stretches, now let's work on kata. No, you should be bowing in, and you should be getting on the line, you should be doing shadow boxing, there should be weight training, there should be resistance training, there should be cardiovascular conditioning, there should be it should be bag work, you know, there's all these things should be present. You should be training. And the teacher should be training. The teacher should be like setting the example. But when the teachers don't set the example and they walk in out of shape, overweight, and then they demand you to have a physical, okay, they couldn't do, you just look at them and tell that they can't do the test they're asking you to do. That's bullshit. Like, honestly, I do believe that none of us is going to beat Father Time, right? None of us is going to beat Father Time. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you've got these martial art teachers that are like, you know, in their 60s and 70s and 80s and all this, well, then at that point, it's like, you understand that, okay, when they taught, they could do. And you know that. So this isn't like, I'm not trying to say that an 80-year-old martial art teacher should be doing the same thing, because none of us is going to beat Father Time. We're all going to get older. But you could tell when a teacher, they don't take care of themselves. That's what I'm saying. This isn't an age thing. This isn't like, oh, you know, you could tell that they don't take care of their own shit. They're being hypocrites. They're demanding something of their students that they themselves can't do or couldn't do and should do. And that right there is bullshit. And then when they are training their reality-based self-defense, and they don't make their students face 3 primary factors. Number 1, pain. They have to make sure that the students face pain. And the reason for that, to face pain, because in a real life situation, you're going to have to endure pain and keep moving forward. The next thing they're going to have to force their students to do is intensity. They got to make it fucking intense. And if you don't make it intense, what are you going to all of a sudden do? They get into a situation and then they're going to be like, "Oh my God, it was so intense and it hurt so much. It was so intense. I didn't know what to do." What the fuck? Because your teacher didn't prepare you for it. That's why. This is the fucking truth. The third thing that you have to push your students to is you have to make sure that they understand failure. They have to fail. Absolutely, I believe in that. You learn more from failure than you ever will from success. I will be the teacher. I will always be the teacher that will push my students to failure. I absolutely will, 100%. And I am not even ashamed in any way at all of saying that, because I believe you learn more from failure than you do success. And I would rather have my students know where their points are, where their physical limitations are, than where they're not. I don't want to be the teacher that's going to be like, "Oh yeah, let me just train my students to do this and this and this," and thinking that they can just take on the fucking world when I know damn good and well they can't. I want them to know their limitations. This is what's going to happen if you fight someone bigger than you. This is what's going to happen when you get fucking tagged in the head. This is what's going to happen when someone's bigger than you and they're laying on your fucking chest. This is what's going to happen. Now, what are you going to do about it? Well, there's my rant for the night. Hopefully you guys get something out of that. If you guys are interested in authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu, the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai, and you want to learn the traditional Japanese martial arts of the ninja and samurai, but you also want to learn how to take those classical concepts and apply them in a self-defense situation, please check out our website at www.budo-ninjutsu.com. There you have a list of our schools, and if you don't live next to one of our schools, we do offer an online ninjutsu dojo as well, where you can learn these strategies and principles and apply them to your training as well. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do put up 2 or 3 videos a week, so if you're interested in Japanese martial arts, self-defense, Japanese philosophy, and just listening to me rant every once and again, then it's definitely a channel you should subscribe to. So thank you guys very much for your love and support. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey of Budo. Bye.